I wasn't planning on making a video, but let's have a little bit of a conversation. What is up, Fin fans? Just got done watching the Chargers-Raiders game. Chargers handed the Raiders a huge loss, 28-14. Raiders now 3-1. Chargers are now 3-1. And the reason I'm making this video is on Twitter. I'm sitting there and I'm just seeing a ton of tweets about the Dolphins are crying because they didn't take Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert, this and that. And it's a lot of making fun of the Dolphins because we took Tua instead of Justin Herbert, right? And I thought, let me make a quick video, just talk about it, because it's a huge debate. It's always going to be a big debate. Justin Herbert, elite talent, offensive rookie of the year, just showing it these past 4 weeks, putting up, great numbers, making great plays. They're 3-1 for a reason. Justin Herbert's great, right? But I wanted to talk about it. I was talking about it a lot with you guys on Twitter. A lot of people on Twitter were responding to my comments. And I thought, let me make a video because a lot of you guys don't have Twitter. And I want to get your guys' opinions on it. And I want to let you guys know where I'm coming from. So the Miami Dolphins don't take Justin Herbert. The Miami Dolphins take Tua Tagovailoa. Justin Herbert goes to the Chargers. But it's funny because there was a lot of Charger fans that wanted Tua, right? If the Dolphins took Justin Herbert, Tua was going to the Chargers. Essentially, the Chargers were ready to take whoever came to them versus Tua and Justin Herbert. It is what it is. Vice versa, that's what was going to happen. Now, the whole debate is, we should have took Justin Herbert. Dolphins should have took Justin. Dolphins are crying because they didn't take Justin Herbert. Look at Justin Herbert. Look how great he is. And my response to that was, and I think even Barry Jackson said, some Dolphin fans aren't watching this game tonight because it hurts them to see what they could have had in Justin Herbert. And my reaction, my thought process is, I'm watching the game because I honestly don't think that it would have mattered. And I got, a lot of people saying, what are you talking about would have mattered? You don't think Justin Herbert would be successful here in Miami? You don't think that his elite talent would transfer to Miami? Oh, it will. It will. And he'll put up fantastic numbers like he did in 2020, but he won't win. And then the Dolphins will try to help him win, and they'll do a horrible job at it. And that is the point of this video, right? The whole Herbert versus Tua debate. If Justin Herbert was here, this and this and this and this would happen, right? And I went back and I looked at Justin Herbert, right? Again, if anybody says Justin Herbert sucks, Justin Herbert this, Justin is just blind to when it comes to football. Kid's elite right now, playing elite, he's fantastic, right? Got a long career ahead of him. I hope he stays on this trajectory. I hope nothing happens in his career to diverge him off his trajectory where he's going. Fantastic quarterback. 2020, it was his rookie year, right? Came in, Tyrod Taylor, they collapsed his lung and bring in Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has great games. Doesn't have great games against the Dolphins, the Bills, or the Patriots. He actually has horrendous games against those three teams. But overall, really great games, put up record-breaking numbers, does great. But behind one of the absolute worst offensive line. I think it was the worst offensive line in the NFL. Had a 6-9 record. Records are a team thing. A lot of people want to, pinpoint losses on the quarterback, and a lot of people want to pinpoint certain things on the quarterback. But then when it comes to wins, it's a team sport. But hey, the quarterback here, look at the quarterback here. But it's a team sport. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino never got the ring. But it's a team sport. See what I'm saying? People use it's a team sport when it benefits their argument. But his 6-9 record, I'm going to say, is a team sport because the kid put up fantastic numbers. Just like Watson last year put up league-leading numbers, but he was on a horrible team. And he had a horrible record because it's a team sport. And that goes into what I'm talking about, right? You look at what the Chargers did this past offseason. First, they fired their head coach. They bring in Brandon Stoley. Brandon Staley then goes out and gets Joe Lombardi, who worked with Drew Brees for 4 years from 2016 to 2020. He was the Lions offensive coordinator, and then before that, he was still working with Drew Brees. So he has a knowledge of a great quarterback, being a quarterback's coach for Drew Brees and what to do. They bring him in to help out Justin Herbert, right? But not only that, this is the free agent signings they do. Corey Linsley, center, Matt Filer, guard. They bring in Jared Cooks, who, as I'm watching this game, is being targeted and thrown at constantly by Herbert. And then they bring in, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, Ode Abushi, a guard. So what did they do in free agency? They throw a ton of money at the offensive line. They go to get the number one center out there, and then comes to the draft. What do? They draft one of the best tackles in the draft in Rashawn Slater. So they say to themselves, we have a great quarterback with a ton of potential. Let's build a team around him so he can be successful. Right? So what is the point of me saying all this? The debate that the Miami Dolphins should have took Herbert. I think if he came to Miami, I think he would have put up great numbers, but I don't think he ever would have won. Blasphemy, right? Blasphemy. That's what I got on Twitter. Blasphemy. And my point to that is the Miami Dolphins for the past however long have had such a hard time putting their quarterback in a successful situation. Look at Ryan Tannehill. For 7 years, he was on this team. And the Miami Dolphins, to their credit, which they didn't deserve back then with Joe Philbin and all that crap, were trying to put successful pieces around Ryan Tannehill, but they were horrible at it. So he was mediocre with the Dolphins. He, in the beginning of his career, concrete feet, stare down his receiver, horrible deep ball. 7 years he was with Miami and never had a good offensive line in front of him, except for 2016 when we went to the playoffs. But never really had a good offensive line in front of him. They tried to put talented receivers. They go out and get Mike Wallace, throw a ton of money at him. He does nothing. But then all of a sudden he leaves Miami, goes to Tennessee, and look how he's doing in Tennessee. Yeah, Doug, but that's because he has a good offensive line and Derrick Henry. That's my point. That's exactly my point. And you're seeing Justin Herbert's situation versus Tua Tagovailoa's situation. And this has nothing to do, this is a big exclaimer, this has nothing, my judgment and my thoughts on Tua haven't been made yet. But you look at the two situations, right? Justin Herbert had a horrible offensive line. They go out and they spend a ton of money and draft capital on an offensive line. Tua Tagovailoa had a horrible offensive line in front of him. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to draft a wide receiver, which, don't get me wrong, Waddle is going to be a fantastic receiver for the Dolphins, but it's not kind of what they needed. And we're going to take a defensive end. It's not kind of what the offense needed. Again, Jalen Phillips, wait till the film breakdown, had a fantastic game against the Colts. It's not what they needed. And then they trade up to take Liam Eichenberg, which I was happy about, but it's like, and then you look 2020 draft, they take Tua Tagovailoa, a guy who's coming off of a hip injury. Do they go out and get the best offensive lineman for him? A guy who is injury prone? Do they go out and build a line in front of him? No. They go and take Austin Jackson at 18, who has a ton of upside, but a ton of downside. And he's a project at 18. And then at 30, they trade back. They take Noah Igbenogany instead of taking a guard, center, or running back. And then instead of trading up in front of Baltimore and taking J.K. Dobbins, they sit and take Raekwon Davis, which, again, love Raekwon Davis. Think he's going to be fantastic. And then even this year, they sit. Take Javon Holland. Going to be fantastic. Again, it's like a double-edged sword because I love Javon Holland. But they could have easily jumped ahead of Denver, or who was there? I think the Falcons were there, or somebody else was there, and taken Williams, who I wanted, who was doing fantastic. But they didn't. And they don't go out and sign a top running back. They stick with Myles Gaskin, Ahmed, but they bring in Malcolm Brown. What do they do at center? They go out and sign Skura. And then they cut him. And then they move Deere to center. But they go out and get Mays. I think that's how you say his name. And this is what the Dolphins' thought process is. Let's have rookies on the offensive line. Let's have inexperience on the offensive line. Because that's what's going to protect our quarterback. Did it? Did it? Let's not go out and get a good running back behind him. Gaskins, Ahmed, and Malcolm Brown will do. But are they? What they did was they went out. We have Gesicki. They went out and got Waddle. They went out and got Fuller. Preston Williams is having a hard time getting on the field. Albert Wilson is not the Albert Wilson we thought he was in training camp. Devontae Parker is Devontae Parker. So they went out and they got him receivers. But if you don't got an offensive line in front of you, you got nothing. My point is, they didn't do it for Tua. Why would people think they would do it for Justin Herbert? They didn't do it for Ryan Tannehill. Why would they do it for Justin Herbert? That is my point. So if the Miami Dolphins ended up drafting Justin Herbert, I think they would have stayed with the status quo. And I think they would have stayed with their thought process on, let's stick with the young offensive line. We don't need to overpay for offensive lineman vets. These young guys are going to do fantastic. And Justin Herbert will do his thing and make the offensive line better. He might, but it seems like in 2020, when I think the Dolphins' offensive line this year is worse than the Chargers last year. I honestly do. And again, I'll say this just to reiterate, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, Bleh. Justin Herbert would put up elite numbers, but wouldn't win because of the limitation of the teams around him, just like Dan Marino. So to say, oh, we should have took Justin Herbert, it wouldn't have mattered if the people making the decision and if building the team around the quarterback was still the same that the Dolphins have done for the past 2 years, which isn't enough and isn't good enough. That is my point. Plain and simple. Justin Herbert, elite talent, bring him here. I don't think it would be as successful. Heck, go out and trade for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's mobile as hell, so that would kind of give him that upside of constantly getting away from the pressure he's going to consistently have in his face, because Dawson Jackson is a revolving door on the left side, and Jesse Davis was a revolving door on the right side. Did you see that end-around play to Jakeem Grant where Liam Eichenberg and Robert Hunt just let the man through, and it was about a 4-yard loss? So that's my point. It wouldn't have mattered if we took him, because the way the Dolphins have been building around quarterbacks have not put them in success. Has nothing to say with Justin Herbert, who's on the screen right now. Has nothing to say with my thought process on Justin Herbert, who right now, top 10 quarterback, and he's in his second year. But if he's on Miami, he might be a top 15 quarterback, but ain't winning games. But hey, I might be wrong. He might have hit those guys that were open that Jacoby Brissett couldn't see. Maybe we would have won the past 2 games. We'll see. But that's my thought process on it. A lot of people, like I said, I wanted to make this video because a lot of people were sitting down and saying, well, we should have took Herbert. We should have took Herbert. Put the quarterback there, and that's all fine and dandy. But if you don't build the team around him right, and if you don't do it right, and if you have them have 2 offensive coordinators that is just confusing as hell, and then you have it relayed down to the quarterback coach, which is confusing as hell, then he has to relay it to you. Do you see what I'm saying? They don't make it easy on the quarterback here. Whereas everywhere else, Justin Herbert got drafted to the Chargers. They made the playbook for for Herbert. Joe Burrow got drafted to the Bengals. They took the LSU playbook and say, Burrow, you're running what you know. But Tua comes in, and Changa's like, nah, I'm working with Fitz. Tua, you're going to have to learn this playbook. I don't know what to tell you, kid. And again, that's not an excuse. That's what happened. And it's because for some reason, the Dolphins just feel like it'll work out eventually. Something's got to change. So this is like a double-edged sword where I'm talking about Herbert, but I'm also talking about the team that it's not working right now. This offensive line is garbage. We don't get a consistent pass rush. The trenches, our linebackers aren't doing, like, Herbert can put up numbers, but if we can't stop the opposing team, whoever gets the ball first wins. And that's my point. So comment below. You can tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. We would be a successful winning organization under Herbert. Maybe. But from what I'm seeing, what they've done for the past 2 years, I don't think they build around him. But be sure to comment below. I just want to make this quick video. It's late. It's probably going to come out at like 12:30. But I was watching the game, and I've been talking to you guys on Twitter. I'm like, let me talk about this. Let me let my YouTubers know. Tomorrow, Big O show. You'll see me wearing the same thing. We recorded earlier today. That will be out tomorrow at around 11 o'clock. But other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. And fins up.